Well, we are right on time tonight, 8 o'clock on the dot. Hello there, Enchanted One, and welcome to Spirit Throw Me a Bone, your spiritual lifestyle channel, where every week we come together to cultivate our connection with the enchanted universe and coax spirit to throw us a bone. I'm Brenda Paradiso, and I help people discover magic and meaning in daily life. So let's get started tonight. We're going to create sacred space like we always do. And then we're going to just check in with one another, and we're going to look at a little bit of astrology. Maybe we'll pull a tarot card and see what the tarot has to say for the week upcoming. So let's get started. What do you say? So, creating sacred space. You know how to do this. Just start with a deep breath and just set the intention that your space that you're in right now is indeed sacred, because we're going to be connecting with the enchanted universe. So I'm going to turn right around to my altar, and I invite you to snuggle up next to your altar, perhaps light a candle. I'm going to call the directions and the elements, and we're going to create a sacred circle. And this is how we do it. Okay, so imagine, if you will, the creation of an energetic circle. And I'm going to call the direction. I'm going to go clockwise and imagine like a blue light creating a circle around the physical space that you occupy right now. And then also a circle that will enclose us all in virtual sacred space. Here we go. By the air that is her breath, welcome east. By the fire of her bright spirit, welcome south. By the waters of her living womb, welcome west. And by the earth that is her body, welcome north. As above, so below, we are in sacred space. Welcome back, Enchanted One. I hope you're enjoying this summer evening and ready to just relax and sort of get some perspective, connect with the enchanted universe for the week upcoming. We're going to talk about the new moon a little bit that came through on the 11th, no, the 10th, the 11th, depending on where you are in the country. New moon in Cancer, right? Of course it's in Cancer because the sun is in Cancer right now. And what's the new moon? But the new moon is the sun and the moon together occupying the same degree in the sky. And since it's Cancer season, that means we have a Cancer new moon. So, say hello in the comments. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube, and then on Facebook. You'll find us at Spirit Throw Me a Bone, STMB on Facebook. They wouldn't let me use the whole long name. Don't ask me why. And give us a like there and a follow. So, you guys ready to talk about astrology? Okay, here's my dear friend Anne. I am well, Anne. How are you? So this weekend was a busy one for me. Yesterday I went and saw there was a party for one of my high school friends, and so I saw sort of this core group of high school friends that we have that stay connected. Did that yesterday. Passed on the opportunity to do a mushroom ceremony yesterday because I wanted to celebrate my friend's birthday, but today I went out near Harper's Ferry and did an Inipi sweat lodge ceremony. So if any of you have done that before, let us know in the comments if you've ever enjoyed a sweat lodge. Oh, okay, so I know Robin has. So Robin, you're on Facebook tonight. You were driving home from a late dinner. Okay. So yeah, you usually join us on YouTube, right? So on Facebook tonight. How about that? Well, good. As long as you're here with us. So Robin, yeah, oh wow, a Nipi ceremony. So yeah, you know what they call the sweat lodge? They call the sweat lodge the womb of the mother. Like when you're in there, you're actually in the womb of the mother. It's not like a symbol or anything like that. It's an actual altar, which is the womb of the mother. So, and yeah, and so the grandfather fire heats the stones, and the stones are grandmother stones, and there's all of this beautiful ceremony around it, and all of this lovely singing and chanting, and we do 4 rounds. I believe the Inipi Sweat Lodge ceremony, the one that I'm most familiar with and participated in today, is from the Lakota tradition. So the chants are Lakota chants. And yeah, it was some good detox. You know, it was like sweating, and it was at a beautiful place that was like right on the river. And lots of folks, after they got out of the sweat lodge, out of the Inipi, they went and jumped in the river and cooled off. And the land there is very beautiful, of course. In Harper's Ferry, the energy there is lovely. And had a nice lunch after we all got out, and it's good to see my medicine family. You know, I've been working with this group now since November, and it's just nice to get together with people that you've done ceremony with, and I've had these deep healing experiences with. It's just really nice to come together as a community and see one another again. So that was my exciting weekend. And yeah, so Robin, I do know that you have shared that you've done sweat lodges before, and I'd love for you to join us sometime. Yeah. So there'll be other opportunities to do it, and just let me know, either of you, if you're interested, and I can hook you up with the organizers, and maybe you can join us sometime. That would be lovely. Okay, guys, so this new moon in Cancer, what do you say we go ahead and start talking about all? Just jump right into the astrology, and we'll go through that, because I have some updates from last week on the astrology to share with you. So we're going to switch gears here and talk astrology. Ooh. That is hot. I got my little cauldron here, burning some more incense. I'm in an incense kind of mood. Got my frankincense, sage, a little bit of cedar. You know, we use a lot of cedar during the Inipi ceremony. Cedar is a sacred herb that puts everything in order. Kind of like grandmother ayahuasca. She puts everything in order. So I'm going to put some cedar on here. You guys want to see me? I think frankincense is about my favorite smell in the world. I tried to turn off this fan, but I don't know if you guys can hear it. I hope not. Okay. So what do we have on the screen is the new moon chart. Again, the new moon was on the 11th. That's late. I mean, that's early. I thought it was later, on the 10th here. It's in the morning here on the East Coast. What was the 10th? Was the 10th, what, Thursday? Let me check my calendar. No, that was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I don't know. Well, wait a minute. I'm talking July. We're in July. I'm sitting there looking at this going, wait, why was it? And it was, okay. That's easy enough to fix, guys. Here we go. All right, so the next one. There we go. That's more like it. Oh, here we have it on the 9th. Okay, so that was on Friday. Yeah, it came in Friday night, 9/16. So there you see it. It is at, turn my background music back on for us. There we go. It's at 18 Cancer. So look at that. Right? Now, what's kind of cool about this new moon, just besides the fact that it's in Cancer, and the moon, of course, is totally happy in Cancer, right? Is that it's trining this Neptune down here, right? That's pretty lovely. So it's pretty dreamy, right? This new moon, and again, this new moon sets off the whole lunar cycle for like the next, until the new moon next month. Okay, so we're under these kind of dreamy, watery energies here for the next month. All right, so remember last week we were talking about the T-square. Do you guys remember what we were saying about a T-square? How a T-square is an opposition between two planets on separate poles, right? So like last week we were looking at the opposition between, what was it? Saturn and Mars, both squaring Uranus. Remember we talked about that last week and how volatile that could be? And so, but this week, Venus has moved along, and it's Venus that's been opposing Saturn. Okay, so now we got a T-square with Venus and Saturn in opposition, squaring Uranus. All right, so that's not quite as difficult as a Saturn-Mars opposition, because what does Venus do? She wants to like harmonize and smooth things over. But still, Venus opposing Saturn, can be kind of a downer on Venus's lovely, beautiful, harmonious energies, right? Saturn, wants to get serious about all of these things, and maybe put limits on things, and kind of can be a buzzkill for for Venus, but also, it could be something permanent and something long lasting, you know, when you put Venus and Saturn together. Um, so, you know, there's always two sides to every story, right? And there's no exception for the gods who inhabit our planets, right? So, but what happens though with the T square is the opposition. You've got the opposing planets that are trying to negotiate some kind of equilibrium, right? Kind of trying to make that seesaw level out. But then you have that squaring planet, which in this case is Uranus, that keeps poking at things and just doesn't let the two opposing planets reach that equilibrium, right? And Uranus, just by virtue of the fact that Uranus is the squaring planet, is going to be, you know, creating a little bit of upset. But Uranus, the planet itself, we know tends to be pretty disruptive. Generally, you know, archetypally, Uranus is the revolutionary, right? And, you know, the one that wants to break free and, you know, bust past all the norms and come in with like total unexpected chaos, right? So, or enlightenment, however you choose to view the process, right? So that's what we've got going on. You know, Venus and Saturn are trying to negotiate some kind of equilibrium, and Uranus is like, I don't think so. No, that's really boring, you guys. Like, we're not going to, like, Venus, we're not going to let you just, you know, negotiate this, I don't know, this limiting kind of serious relationship just because Saturn's involved. Like, we want to keep shaking things up here. Right? So that's the Venus square Uranus. Like, you know, Venus, the planet of love and harmony and beauty and all that kind of stuff. Uranus is like, well, okay, we can do all that, but it's got to be different. It's got to be exciting. It's got to be unpredictable. It's got to be something, you know, avant-garde even, right? So, and then you got Saturn on the other side, you know, kind of pushing back and forth with Uranus, you know, saying, nope, you got to toe the line, you know, you got to be conservative, you got to like be a traditionalist, you know, we can't always be revolutionaries, and, you know, I'm here to maintain the status quo, you know. So that's the other side, right? That's the square Saturn to Uranus. That's a lot going on, guys. And let me tell you a little Venus-Uranus story from last night. You know, when I was at this get-together, it was a birthday party, as I mentioned, and one of my high school friends was celebrating her 60th, and telling on my age here. So, you know, it's like a party, right? I mean, what could be more Venusian than a party? Like, people getting together, people socializing, you know. For the most part, everybody's vaccinated, so COVID is, you know, we're not like limited in our social interactions anymore. So, you know, Venus is just having a great time at this party. You know, it was like a 70s theme, right? Because we all came up during the 70s, and so everybody's dancing, having a good time, talking. You know, there was a pool there, and you know, just good food and enjoying everybody's company, right? And there was probably, I don't know, 8 of us. I mean, there were several people there at the party beyond just the people who were, you know, in my high school kind of clique. But anyway, there was about 8 or 10 of us, like from high school. And so everyone was having a good time, dancing, listening to music, having a good time, right? And then all of a sudden, like I hear some like arguing. I look around and like 2 of my friends are like in this very heated argument. I mean, and it was like hot. I mean, it was like, what the heck? Who's like coming in here ruining this Venus vibe, right? Like out of nowhere comes like this like eruption, like this argument between these 2 people. And so I immediately thought, oh man, that is like Venus square Uranus. Like, here you are, like this nice, pleasant party. Everyone's like having a great time, vibing, just fine. And then all of a sudden comes this like out of nowhere, like these people are like, I mean, they were going at it just verbally, but it was pretty intense, right? I was like, there you go. That's that Venus square Uranus going on. So it was, yeah. And another thing too that was funny about it was or interesting about it, and like how it sort of reflected the archetypes of that I'm speaking of right now with this T square, is that it was a 70s theme, so it was sort of like going back to the past, right? And people were dressed up like 70s attire. Some people were like wearing full on like costumes, like with with like white platform shoes and like crushed velvet bell bottoms, and it was so, I don't know, that just kind of seems sort of Venus, Uranus, Saturn to me, like back to the past, right? That's the Saturn, is like the past and the way things were. But it's like quirky because everybody's wearing costumes. Not everybody, but a lot of people were in costume, with, the headbands and the big sunglasses, and the fringe and everything for the 70s. So that's kind of Uranus, like Venus, and it's a party, right? So Venus, Uranus. So yeah, that was interesting. And then I guess today, with the Anipi Sweat Lodge and, this new moon in Cancer. Cancer is about family and tradition and legacy and heritage and ancestry and all of that, right? And we're by the river, right? So, that's like Cancer new moon kind of stuff, like we consider we consider ourselves a family, those of us who do this healing work together, and yeah, so it was very apropos, I think, for the Enchanted Universe was serving up, this experience that seemed pretty Cancerian to me, right? Being with family and observing ancient tradition and by the river, So how about you guys? Yeah, well, I'm not 60 yet. I just only turned 59, so so how about you guys? Like, are you feeling this Venus Uranus energy, this T square energy, this new moon in Cancer? So what's the focus for you? Why don't we go through your astrology and we can talk about it by looking at your chart and looking, based on the rising signs like we always do. And, well, aren't you a sweetheart, Anne? I appreciate that. I try not to look my age, but, what can I say? One of these days I just won't care, but that hasn't happened yet. Okay. So who all is with us? We've got some people who are with us who are not posting here. So unless I'm not getting YouTube comments for some reason, because all I see are Facebook comments. I wonder if there's somebody on YouTube and I'm not getting the YouTube comments. There's a way I can see, I think, on here. Who's watching where? I've got 4 people on YouTube. Okay. 1 person on Facebook. But it looks like I have more on Facebook than I do. If you're, okay, there you go. You moved to YouTube. All right. Okay, so we got some lurkers out there. Say hello, Enchanted One. I can't read for you. If you don't let us know you're here. Yeah, so I don't know who else is on YouTube with us. But, so we'll just get started, Robin and Anne, with your rising signs, and then maybe some people will jump in and let us know that they've joined us, and we can read for them too. So where are we going to start here? Why don't we start with Taurus rising? Okay, so Taurus rising, this puts this new moon in your third house. So again, guys, new moon, you know what new moon is. It's new beginnings, right? That's why you set intentions at the new moon, okay? And it's going to color and be the theme for this entire lunar cycle. This beautiful, lovely Cancer new moon trining Neptune, right? So, yeah, and it's falling, and because you have Taurus rising in your third house of siblings, technology, sort of like your way of thinking about things, not like grand ideas, philosophy, religion, that kind of stuff, but more like your sort of mindset. Your like immediate environment, like your neighborhood, travel, just, to and from, not long range travel, teachers, what else? Anybody else that am I missing anything for third house topics? So yeah, that's pretty creative. For some beautiful, dreamy, poetic, Piscean, Cancerian type of communication, with that lovely trine to Neptune. So yeah, be aware that it's creative and all that, but it's not necessarily the best energy for like paying attention to details on a contract that you're writing, that kind of thing. Make sure, because Neptune is involved and it's very watery energy there, that you're paying attention to the details. If that's the kind of writing that you're doing, I would just stick to poetry myself under these influences. But you can't always do that. Sometimes you got to get down to business and write contracts and pay attention to those types of details, and certainly you can do it. You just might want to check for typos a couple times. So what else there? So then this T-square, for you, we've talked about this before, only now, it's this T-square with Venus in the action. And again, we talked about this last week. This is your 4th, 10th house stuff. And so that's a pretty big deal, right? 4th house, home, family, father, ancestry, your foundation, your roots. That's where the Venus is hanging out and getting ready to come into conjunction. See how down here we got Venus at 15 and Mars at 17? So, what we've been talking about with these T-squares, last week it was the T-square, with Mars, and this time Venus is coming into the action. But the T-square dynamic can be pretty contentious. But by the time Venus is exactly conjoined to Mars, the middle of the week, I think that we'll find that things are smoothing over, and if things have otherwise kind of been a little bit of a struggle or just not really working out for you, the Enchanted Universe is coming through with a beautiful marriage of Venus and Mars that should bring us some harmony and some good results. I'm counting on the Enchanted Universe to do just that because we've been looking for a rental for like the last couple weeks, and nothing is really, because there's a contract on our house and yada yada, and you guys know the whole story. And so we need a place to live, and we just haven't found it yet. So I'm hoping that when this conjunction is exact, we get away from the more tense aspects of this T square, and Venus really comes in and partners with Mars, that things will turn around, and I think they will. That's the way that the Enchanted Universe expresses the conjunction of Venus and Mars. It's a marriage, and it's very flowing energy, and she is really smoothing things out with this T square action that's been so challenging. So I want to hear next week, what turned around for you at the middle of the week, what finally came to fruition, or what gift did the Enchanted Universe serve up for you? I'm hoping that it's going to bring me a beautiful place to live. That's my prayer, right? One that like all the boxes are checked, for all of our criteria for what we're looking for. And when we find that place, we'll know it, right? And it's probably not going to happen until Venus and Mars are together in the sky. That's the Enchanted Universe, guys. You've got to believe in it, right? Okay, so yeah, that opposition and 4th and 10th house for you. Very personal houses, right? 10th house is what you do, your career out in the world, who you are, like how you show up out in the world. Saturn up there has been, serving up some, get serious about your career. Like you will reap rewards from all that hard work. You'll get recognition. Saturn up there is recognized. So, not the worst place for Saturn to be. It's just that it happens to be opposing Mars and Venus and squaring Uranus. that we could do without. And that Uranus is in your first house. So again, like these are really personal houses. They're the most active houses. 1, 4, 7, and 10, right? They're called the angular houses, the cardinal houses. And so your first house is like you and your stamp on the world. It's also your physical body. So take care of yourself, right? And don't be rushing around too much, and make sure that you don't, in your rush and in your haste and in your frustration, that you stub a toe or otherwise have a little accident, right? Because Uranus in your house of, the physical body and whatnot, it hurts to stub your toe. so be aware of that. Anyhow, so yes, I've been to everywhere. I don't really want to live in an apartment. We're looking townhouses. Okay, so here's Kathleen. So Kathleen, thank you for checking in. And thank you for joining us. And so you know that you have Taurus rising. So everything I just read for Anne applies to you as well. So I want to hear some really good stories from you guys. This is a lot of astrology going on the last couple weeks, and then for the next couple of weeks in these really active houses for you guys. Home, family, ancestry, your physical home, right? What you do out in the world, your status, your career, and then your first house of like who you are, and like how you're showing up in the world, and also your physical body. Like you gotta have some stories, guys. There's a lot of astrology going on. Okay, so well, now let's talk Libra rising. How about that? That's me and you. And if there's anybody else out there with Libra rising who is lurking, this would apply to you as well, because I can think of a Libra rising individual who just might be lurking. And if you're out there, say hello. Okay. Now we got 6 people. We got 6 people, and we have 3 people who have posted here. So we got 3 lurkers. All right. Well, you know what? Lurker or not, Enchanted One, I'm so happy you're here. I just can't read for you if you don't tell me you're here. Libra rising. Let's go, Robin. There we go. Okay. So, gee, new moon in our 10th house. Okay. So that's the focus really for this lunar cycle, 10th house. That's what career. It's who you are out in the world. Um, and what do you know? It's like, Robin, you're still working. I'm still working. But it's about more than just profession. It's about sort of like some of us have careers that are really they really say a lot about our mission in life, right? Like it's like our careers are really tied into um, you know, our identity on the public stage. But for some people, it's not like that. For some people, it's just a job, right? And then they do their thing elsewhere in their lives. I met a woman like this, and there's several people like that, but I met a woman like this last week, and we were having a conversation, and she's like, I just work to like pay my bills and whatnot, and it's not my passion. Money's not, my passion. I'm not really motivated by money. It's just like I just put in my time so that I can, just pay the rent or the mortgage or whatever the case may be, and then, my music is my passion, was what she said, and I just try to like make sure I save as much energy and time for that. Um, so yeah, so, uh, also the midheaven, see up here, I'm going to give you a little bit off topic, a little bit astrology instruction right here, where it says MC, that's called the midheaven. And depending on what house system you use in astrology, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but in ancient astrology, your midheaven may not be in your 10th house. Like, for example, my midheaven is in my 11th house, and sometimes it could be in the 9th house. So that kind of speaks to what I was just saying about, for some people, like their mission in life is not connected to their profession or the work that they do in the world. So the midheaven is more of, what your mission in life is. For many people, it happens to be their career as well. I guess I'm sort of jealous of those people. Like, gosh, you do what you love, and this is like your calling, and you get paid for it. Like, how awesome is that? And there are lots of folks like that, I don't happen to be one of them. Not at this moment, anyway. But yeah, so the midheaven is more like your mission in life, where the 10th house is more like what you do out in the world, like how you're sort of recognized publicly. So like that would explain, like, quote, I don't even like this term anymore, stay-at-home mom, or who's like, for example, really invested in like volunteer work, right? It's not their profession, but they're like known for all that they do, in that realm. So, okay. Okay, so, all right. All right, so Robin is talking about, how this lunar cycle with this new moon in the 10th house is bringing him a new experience. Or I don't know if it's new, but bringing him, this opportunity for a presentation um, at this convention. So he's going to be recognized publicly, right? So there you go. That's the Enchanted Universe speaking to you, Robin. And what's going to happen, guys, later in the month is the sun is going to oppose Pluto here. Things could get rather intense around that time. Let me finish up here, and then we'll go look at that date. But we should be aware of that. So for us, Robin, 4th and 10th house focus here. um, once with that opposition. Um, but as far as the T-square goes, the T-square is in our 5th house, 5th to 11th. So groups, that makes sense, right? Also, Robin, you know, you're presenting to a group. And yeah, so if there's been any tension in that regard, like with the creativity or the group kind of situations or endeavors, by the middle of the week, you know, things should be good there, right? So when is your first week in August? That's a little ways away. I was wondering if your presentation was going to be this week. So be looking out for that. And yeah, so why don't we move the clock forward a little bit? Because I want to know these dates here. When exactly? I'll go for today. Whoops, don't do that. I didn't want that. Oh, why does that? Why does that? There we go. I'm trying to get to when. It's annoying. Why does it do that? How about if I get rid of this one? Okay. So I'm looking for the day that we have this conjunction. Oh, I guess we passed it. Yeah. Yeah, so it's sometime around here on the 14th. Yeah, I knew it was like at the middle of the week. So you got hours, weeks, months, days, hours. Yeah. Right. So it's around the 14th when the conjunction between Venus and Mars is exact. And again, guys, that's when I was saying things were going to lighten up, and we were going to get some benefits from Venus's seduction of Mars to get him out of his warlike stance. Okay. And then, so our opposition to Pluto is going to happen, I think, at the end of the month, right? Because that's when the sun, yeah, well, not the end of the month, actually, it's 25. Yeah, so it's exact on the 17th. I mean, it's within 3 degrees already, so we should be feeling it. But, you know, the sun moves like the end of the week. Like, when is the 15th? Yeah, the 15th is Thursday. So it's moving into that opposition within 3 degrees. And then, yeah, things are going to heat up. And it's exact on the 17th. And then, yeah, it's going to move away by the 19th. So that's going to be pretty intense, guys. So the worst of it will be over by the time I get to my dad's. I'm going to my dad's on the 19th. So yeah, that can be pretty intense. Sun opposing Pluto. You know, Pluto is like really like all into power struggles and willfulness and wanting to like dig deep and get compulsive about things and bring up like hidden things. And I mean, it can be transformative and healing because like you're doing that kind of work, but it never feels good. Rarely does it feel good. Okay, guys. All right, so that's what I got for you for some astrology. Wow. And I forgot to put my background music on and everything, guys. Sorry about that. And it's already 10 till 9. Okay. So, should we pull a tarot card? What did we pull last week? Remember we pulled the High Priestess, right? Does anybody have any High Priestess stories for us? I'm just going to go over here and get my deck. It's in my purse. So I don't have any High Priestess stories other than, you know, she's just always with me. I feel like, right? Because that's who we pulled last week, right? Didn't we? So Robin is getting some R&R. Going to be with family. That's 4th house. So, yeah, some more of that new moon action, right? Because it's on that 4th, 10th house axis. You know what? I'm just going to pull any old card this time. I'm not going to pull out the majors. If it's not a major, then I might have to cheat and look online to get a little interpretation of it. But all right, so let's see. This will just be our card for the coming week, guys. Anybody want to take a guess on what it's going to be? It's a little bit harder to guess when we're not just pulling from the majors. So if you can guess that, boy, you got some psychic action going on. All right, here we go. I'm going to pull this one card. This is going to be the card for the upcoming week. This is just going to, you know, set the tone for this week. This card is going to sort of be our guidepost, right? What we need to refer to, you know, and when we're looking for guidance from the Enchanted Universe and what we're going to be looking for, you know, as confirmation that Spirit has thrown us a bone, right? So here we go. Here's our card. Well, I did pull a major, guys. Would you like to see which one I pulled? It's a major. And guessed Magician. Would you like to take a guess? Robin and T, if you're with us, would you like to take a guess? Here's our card. There he is. You know, I pulled the Death card earlier, like 2 days ago, actually. No, yesterday. Yesterday morning I pulled the Death card. There it is coming up again. Some kind of an ending, guys. Some kind of an ending. You know, some kind of an ending. Something allowing for the new to come in, right? So, let's remember, guys, to talk about... let's remember to next week to revisit that. I'm looking to see if I have a copy of that card on here. I don't see it. So I could put it up for you. Meters. There we go. Look how tiny it is. There it is. That's a really yucky image, isn't it? I mean, in terms of the quality. But yeah, there's the Death card, just marching right along. All right, guys. What do you say my husband has a saying, what do you say we blow this pop stand? We're going to finish up, guys. We're going to finish up. We talked our astrology and we pulled our tarot card. And thank you guys for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. It was a busy, eventful weekend for me, so I'm going to sleep well tonight, right? So, what do you say we open up the circle that we created? Because, of course, we've been in sacred space all this time, right? do it. We go counterclockwise and we release the circle. By the earth that is her body, thank you, North. By the fire of her bright spirit, thank you, South. Nope, no, that was West. By the waters of her living womb, thank you, West. By the fire of her bright spirit, thank you, South. And by the air that is her breath, thank you, East. As above, so below, the circle is open. Whew. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. I wanted to remind you, if you haven't already, and I know you have, but just in case you're a lurker and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe on YouTube, please. And like our video too tonight on YouTube, all right? And if you're joining us on Facebook, we're at STMB. It's the name of our Facebook page. So give us a like there, like the video, like our page, show us some love, appreciate it. So Enchanted One, all right, you are armed with all this information about the astrology for the coming week. We talked about the T-square with Venus, Uranus, Saturn. We talked about that. We went through all of our charts, our rising signs, and we talked about the fact that Venus is coming together with Mars in a beautiful way in the middle of the week, smoothing all kinds of things out for us. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of relief with that marriage of Venus and Mars, right? Just in time to like give us a little break before the sun opposes Pluto there for a couple of days, beginning of next week. But I'll see you then. I'll see you before then, because, you know, we're always here on Sunday nights. Same enchanted time and same enchanted channel. So until then, be well, be true, be sacred, be you.